I mentioned at the top of the program that we had a lot of scores to settle tonight, and there may be no bigger score to settle than what we're about to see right now, Lawrence.
The dissolution of the Persian Empire seemed to occur at WrestleGration, where Mustafa Khan lost the UK Wrestling Heavyweight Championship to Jonathan Sedgwick and seemingly turned his back on Crowley and Maktoum. I mean, we'll have to see what happens here. Mustafa Khan pulled out of the match with Sedgwick. Crowley challenged Mustafa Khan to this match. Mustafa Khan seemingly has accepted. We'll have to see what happens in this contest.
Crowley and Maktoum undoubtedly feel insulted that Mustafa Khan has, in their own minds, turned his back on the Persian Empire, abandoned them to embrace the cheers, to embrace the adulation of the UKW fans, and Maktoum and Crowley aim to put an end to Mustafa Khan here tonight in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Just noticed as well, Simon, that we've got no death row out here right now after we've seen the one already.
He is the current Persian Heavyweight Champion. He is a former 3-time UK Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. He's a son to the slams, king of knockouts. And once today is Mustafa Carl!
To see what can change at the end of a wrestling match. The last time we saw Mustafa Khan enter a building, it was unanimously booed.
Absolutely, Khan, for a very long period of time, one of the more despised members of the UKW roster. You heard the ovation when Khan made his way out onto the entranceway. Mustafa Khan is very, very popular. He's going to have to come out of his mind very shortly because he steps into a very dangerous situation against what remains of the Persian Empire. That, of course, being Crowley and Maktoum.
A lot of factors here we need to take into consideration. We're going to see Leone Rose later, but Leone Rose, the fourth member of what was the Persian Empire, not to mention Death Row.
Despite having the numbers advantage, it's Crowley and Maktoum that have retreated to the ringside area. Mustafa Khan is standing all alone in the ring right now.
The size of Khan.
Absolutely. He might be outnumbered, but he's definitely not outsized. Former UKW heavyweight champion, as you mentioned, Lawrence, the biggest man on the UKW roster.
Biggest man, arguably most feared, arguably most well respected. But these two, Crowley, Maktoum, should know Khan better than anybody. They've spent the last year or so being his running buddies.
Bell sounds in the way. It's Crowley that's elected to start with Khan. This match, from the appearance of it, is going to be under tag rules. So whilst it is 2-on-1, Maktoum and Crowley will have to tag in and out. You saw there, Crowley locked up with Khan, and immediately, the first chance he got, he tagged out to Maktoum, who just got decimated with that clothesline by Khan.
I was here before the formation of the Persian Empire. The last time Edward Crowley and Mustafa Khan got in the ring on the opposite sides, Khan put Crowley to sleep with a Cobra clutch. Be interesting to see what Khan's strategy is going to be here tonight, having to take on two men at the same time.
And the man that Mustafa Khan is manhandling here is shaking it too. Still relatively new to actually competing in professional matches, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been training here roughly about 6 months.
Of course, Crowley, a bit more experienced than that, been around for a number of years. Mustafa Khan, however, is very experienced. He's been up and down the British wrestling scene for over a decade now. Gets chopped in. Traps Maktoum in the corner and welcomes into the wrestling business with a authoritative knife-edge chop to the chest.
The crowd baying for blood. They want another chop. and they shall receive.
Mustafa Carl obliging. And then it's a straight boot to the face of the Sheik. Shoots him off the ropes. Big Irish whip, but another clothesline takes McToom down, who is not faring very well in this match.
McToom, if he's got any brain cells left after the beating that Khan's put on him, he'll look to make a tag as quickly as he possibly can.
Absolutely. First opportunity that McToom has, he's going to have to try and get out of there. McToom is complaining to the referee about something. He's asking to be checked. That is allowed Khan to take his eyes off the game, and Crowley just with a thumb in the eyes, and McToom trying to barrel through the bigger man.
I think he just used his head there as you said, a battering ram against.
Well, he shot him off the ropes in McToom. That big clothesline is not taking Mustafa Carl down. Again, just nothing pretty behind that, behind McToom. Illegally going to the eye, so he's going to have to watch the referee's count. McToom is just trying to use his entire body weight to knock Carl over. Doesn't appear to have accomplished it, and he's now resorting to just blatantly cheating in the corner, going to the eyes, going to the throat of Carl.
Using
body shots.
Using what he can to take the big man down. Obviously, if you cut his oxygen supply, he's going to drop pretty quickly.
Khan is a big man to be moving around. If I was McToom, I'd try and tag out though. He's been in the ring for the majority of this match so far. Crowley appears to be happy enough just standing on the apron shouting instructions, and now taking the referee's attention away, allowing McToom to choke Khan across the top rope illegally.
So that hole's been on there a good sort of 7-8 seconds. So that's 2 or 3 longer.
Absolutely. This is the advantage that McToom and Crowley have in this handicap match. Crowley, they're demanding that Khan be brought over to him. There's the tag. And now Crowley just hot-shotting Khan across the top rope.
But Khan's still not left his feet so far.
Double sledge to the back by Crowley.
The remnants of the Persian Empire need to do a hell of a lot more than what they're already doing.
Big closed down in the corner from Crowley, comes charging out of steam. Nothing more than a body splash in the corner. Well, a chop to the chest by Crowley, not quite with the oomph that Khan brought. That may be a mistake from Crowley.
Going to do again. And a second one, and again, just doesn't seem to have the same ferocity of the chops that Mustafa Carl dishes out.
Mustafa Carl still not left his feet. Crowley comes charging. Another clothesline. Khan is wobbly. He's taken a fair bit of abuse over the last few minutes.
We thought that perhaps Crowley might have more success. There we have it.
Takes him. Now it took 3 big clotheslines from Crowley to do it.
Crowley is the bigger of the 2 members of the remnants of the Persian Empire. And now just stomping.
Disrespectful is walking across the sternum of the former heavyweight champion. Drops an elbow. Khan grabbing the ropes.
The championship knowledge, that sort of veterancy in Mustafa Carl, rather than expending energy kicking out, grabs the ropes, breaks the fall.
Carl now applying that nerve hold. Both Crowley and McToom trying to do absolutely anything they can do.
Crowley going back to the eyes.
Absolutely. You saw Khan starting to struggle out of that hole. Crowley almost out of panic went straight to the eyes of his opponent. Drives the knee, drives the shin across the midsection of Khan, trying to win the big man.
Crowley taking too much time here. He's too busy walking around the ring taunting the big man.
Absolutely. He's going to try and... I mean, McToom is coming illegally, it might be pointed out. They're trying to double suplex him. Khan fights out with relative ease. The referee is going to try and have to get control. Introduces the meeting of the minds of the two. Lifts McToom up, just dumps him down with a big body slam. Takes Crowley up. Atomic drop.
Okay, that might have caused some discomfort for Crowley there. He's looks to be in quite some discomfort there.
Mustafa Carl has rallied back here. Knife edge chop.
Two now.
Two is back in his own corner. Crowley is also in that corner. Big headbutt from Khan. Batum tags himself in. Batum comes in. Comes charging. Once again gets knocked down. That tactic hasn't really worked for Batum this entire match.
I'm just questioning that tag there. See, Mustafa Carl was looking straight at Sheikh Batum as that tag was made.
Takes Batum down, sidewalk, slam, and gets the 3. A sudden out of nowhere victory from Mustafa Carl. Batum made the mistake of tagging himself back in the match and very, very quickly ate that sidewalk slam from Mustafa Carl, who has triumphed against the odds here tonight at UKW.
I think this has answered a lot of questions here tonight that perhaps Mustafa Carl never really needed the Persian Empire. However, the Persian Empire seemingly needed Mustafa Carl to get this, to garner the success that they garnered under the tutelage, under the leadership of the Persian heavyweight champion. Crowley there.
It appears to me that Crowley is berating the two. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but he certainly doesn't look happy at the two taking the loss there.
Crowley's always been a sole loser, now he's showing it.
Unceremoniously dragging the two off the ring apron. You see the two there limping visibly as the losers of this handicap match retreat backstage. Despite Mustafa Khan getting the victory, however, you have to question, does Khan still have unfinished business? He didn't quite get his hand on Crowley as much as you'd like to in that match. You have to think that at some point, Mustafa Khan is coming to Crowley.
Crowley's fighting all sorts of wars right now. He's got Dylan gunning after him, Khan coming after him. I wouldn't want to be Crowley right now.
This next match is the UK Wrestling Television Championship. This is going to be a scramble match. What that means is the match starts with two men in the ring, and every 3 minutes after they started wrestling, another opponent comes in. There will be a total of 4 wrestlers in the ring. They will then wrestle for a further 3 minutes. During that time, they can score a pinfall or submission that will be an interim or unofficial champion. After that final 3 minutes, the next person to score the last pinfall or submission will be declared the champion. So, shall we introduce the first 2 wrestlers? First into the ring, and he's your current UK Wrestling Television Champion. It is the Golden Boy,
Kane Taylor having to defend his newly won TV championship inside a championship scramble match. His opponents for this contest, 2 men that he beat last month at WrestleBration 11 to capture the UK Wrestling TV Championship, LRB and Vince Wood. The third man, one of the contestants in the #1 contenders match, that man Billy O'Keefe, should have an interesting dynamic to it. Obviously, Kane Taylor doesn't have to be pinned or submitted to lose his championship, but under championship scramble rules, he will have an allotted time to win that back. That's assuming that he even loses it here at least once tonight. There's a possibility that Kane keeps hold of that title this whole show. The second man in this scramble match, Victor Wood. come off a partnership with Ellis Barker recently. Be interesting to see if Wood will fare any different this time. He knew that Kane Taylor will be involved in the match.
Victor Wood is someone with a very bizarre version of charisma. Very unusual, but somehow very likeable, quirky young man, Victor Wood. He's been wrestling for a little over a year now. This is a very, very big opportunity for Victor Wood.
We're just pointing out, Wood this time round knows that Kane Taylor will be involved in this match. Last month, WrestleBration, nobody knew Kane Taylor was in the building. Taylor just shows up, bullies his way into the match, and comes out with the championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the UK Wrestling Television Championship. The next wrestler will be announced into the ring 3 minutes after the first bell.
Absolutely, Kane Taylor making a shocking return last time around. As you said, no one knew that Taylor was on the premises, and he walked away that night with that television championship. So this is our UKW Television Championship scramble match. Kane Taylor and Victor Wood starting out here in 3 minutes time. We will have the third competitor enter the match. 3 minutes after that, we'll have the fourth and final member, and then the real fun starts. Collar elbow tie up first of all from Taylor, easily shoving Victor Wood down. Victor Wood though, attacks the waist lock. Standing switch by the sizable Taylor. Taylor would...
I was just about to say Taylor trained by Marty Jones, 100%. Of all people.
Kane Taylor told me earlier on this afternoon that he had his very first training session when he was 6 years old.
And standing at that point, probably 5'12", maybe. The man is a mammoth, and he's still growing.
Absolutely. Victor Wood taking Taylor to the outside. Wood maybe looking to fly here. Cartwheels on the apron. Aggressive athleticism by Wood. Went for a Luthes press, it looked like on the outside. Goes easily caught by Taylor and deposited into the ring post.
Under the scrambled rules, no countouts, no disqualifications.
Absolutely nothing that referee John Parker can do except lead or order these two young men back into the ring.
Wood's got to use his speed to maybe try and keep away from Taylor. Have flashes of attack.
Bionic elbow to the top of the head. Drop kick catches Taylor in the sternum. He's such a big individual. He gets taken now with an arm drag, nicely done by Wood. Now, just so we can get some clarification on the rules here, Lawrence, both these men can go for pinfalls during this time period, correct?
Yeah, that's completely correct under this ruling. Pinfalls, as we just heard the 2 minute call there, pinfalls, submissions are active at any point. Kane's already the reigning champion. He doesn't need to make pinfalls or submissions. However, it's the onus is on Wood, LRB and OKeefe in this contest to make as many pinfalls as they can. If one of them can gain a pinfall somewhere, and that will effectively make them the interim champion until the end of this match.
Absolutely.
We just saw that Taylor headbutt Wood to the outside of the ring. It looked as though he was just going to stand there for a minute and wait for the next entrant.
And he can absolutely do that. This is a match that Taylor very much has the championship advantage in, for now at least anyway. When he starts to become outnumbered, however, those odds will drastically change. The countdown is on as we're about to introduce our third competitor as Taylor drops a big elbow on the sternum of Wood.
One of the more popular men of UK wrestling, LRB. He's the first ever two-time UK Wrestling Academy champion. Makes a bit of a tumble.
He manages to duck the attack of Taylor though and starts lighting him up with big right hands. The referee imploring Taylor to protect himself as LRB, very impressive, was muscling Taylor back to the corner. Nothing pretty about that. Big clothesline. Taylor still on his feet.
Let's just point out some of the
Oh, spinning back fist. Nearly took LRB's head off.
Just about to reel off the accomplishments that LRB's had in UKW, but then he gets his head punched off by the golden boy, Kane Taylor. Oh yeah, LRB two-time and the only two-time Academy champion. On top of that, he became the TV champion by winning 2 matches in the same night.
Despite being in some ways outnumbered here, Kane Taylor is very much in the driver's seat, just mauling both his opponents.
Taylor has that power advantage, he has that size advantage. We mentioned the training of Mike Jones, arguably has the technical advantage. The man also moves lightning fast for the size he is. I would suggest it's probably in the best interest of the other 3 men in this match. We haven't seen Billy O'Keefe yet, but it would be, in my opinion, in their best interest to team up and take Taylor out completely.
Absolutely, they're going to have to try and gang up on this big man who right now has got Vincent Price up in the air, drops him down with that backbreaker, now applying the pressure on the chin. LRB in a very intelligent move there, catches Taylor unaware with that drop kick. The first time we've really seen Taylor rock, but he's straight back up on his feet.
He's back to his feet first, and now on the attack.
Looking to this Beal LRB across the ring again. Nothing pretty about the vicious offense of Kane Taylor, a young prodigy here in not only UKW but British wrestling in general. And there, to your point, Lawrence, they're trying to team up. Double DDT, spikes down his head. Well, Wood has gone for the cover, or apparently he's not. Now it's going to be
perhaps they're looking at taking him out completely.
Absolutely, I thought that Vincent Wood and LRB were going to come to blows there, but instead they've opted to maintain this advantage that they've gained over Taylor. They're going to try and double suplex the big man, but instead it's Taylor that takes over both Wood and LRB. Nasty landing for both men.
And yet again we can hear the countdown. Billy O'Keefe now has to enter this ring on his own. Kane Taylor's the only man standing.
Springboard forearm by Billy O'Keefe drops Taylor. Now Billy O'Keefe coming like a house of fire on both his opponents.
Now this is where the
standing shining whiz and LRB.
This is where the fun really begins. All 4 men are now in this match. Pinfalls,
suplex.
Pinfalls could come from anywhere. Referee John Parker's got his work cut out for him here.
O'Keefe on the top rope. Senton Atomico on Wood. Hooks the leg. He immediately eats a cutter though from LRB. LRB. That's only a 2, says the referee. Only a 2 count.
Just so we're keeping track now, Billy O'Keefe is the current TV champion.
There's a cutter on Kane Taylor. Now apparently, Taylor kicks out. Now does LRB have to pin the reigning champion, or is there any pin?
No, it's fatal 4-way rules. As of this moment in time, anybody can pin anybody. But obviously, Billy O'Keefe is the champion.
LRB is cuttering everybody. He's just called the current champion, and it's Wood that breaks up the pinfall.
Keeping up this pace, O'Keefe is has got the championship won if everybody keeps breaking up covers, but Vince.
This has been absolute chaos so far in this scramble match for the television championship, I believe. Well, there's apparently 1 minute remaining, according to the ring announcer. Billy O'Keefe is the current reigning television champion, or the interim champion, I should say. And if I was Billy O'Keefe, I'd be getting out of Dodge right now. I'd be trying to get out the ring.
But obviously, it's fatal 4-way rules that.
Of course, he needs to maintain himself around to break up any pinfalls. Gorilla press into a power slam by Kane Taylor on Billy O'Keefe. But LRB maybe look to capitalise. The referee's down, and there's a 3. With 30 seconds remain, LRB is now the current interim champion.
He has to maintain and hold on for I believe, 20 more seconds. All 4 men are down.
All 4 men down. LRB has regained the TV championship.
There is 10 seconds left. Someone is going to have to get on LRB very, very quickly, because right now we are now in a sudden death scenario.
Sudden death. I mean,
the 9-minute time limit of the option of different champions being able to be established, is finished. The next champion, the next pinfall or submission, will result in our final and current television champion.
Taylor now looking to make an alliance with OKeefe.
Well, Kane Taylor has picked OKeefe up on his shoulders. He may be looking to press slam him all the way onto the outside, onto his opponent.
Taylor celebrating, but now OKeefe.
I'm not quite sure how long this partnership is going to last, though.
LRB is current champion, but OKeefe and Taylor standing tall together, but have to...
well, LRB and Vincent would have agreed to team up here. We are very much at a stalemate. OKeefe is still, LRB is still the champion. Wait a minute. OKeefe, who was just teamed with Kane Taylor, who just got bounced nearly out of his boots.
OKeefe is known to switch allegiances quite frequently.
Kane Taylor has been an absolute force to be reckoned with in this match, taking all 3 competitors down. And he's very easily spotted OKeefe ascending to the buckles, stops him on the second rope, and OKeefe may have found himself in a very precarious position here. Well, LRB and Vincent Wood are trying to put an end to the plans of Kane Taylor, who finds himself in a double electric chair. Big forearm, and Kane Taylor is down.
That could be the end of Taylor that we see in this match.
OKeefe makes the cover and gets pressed off by the big man.
Goodness me, what did we just see?
The sheer and raw power of Kane Taylor.
After an electric chair forearm combination by 3 men, and Taylor has enough in the tank to launch OKeefe quarter of the length of the ring.
Wood and OKeefe now exchanging strikes. Big forearm by Wood. LRB LRB making sure that he keeps his championship for now.
Under the sudden death rules that we've currently implemented now, LRB has to make those saves if he wants to leave here with the championship.
Absolutely. Taylor is mauling LRB though. Double underhook DDT, drops Wood on his head.
That's it.
This may well be all. He's hooked the leg in the middle of the ring, and he's got the fall.
The match and still your UK Wrestling Television Champion is the Golden Boy, Kane Taylor.
Taylor by, and I want to say the skin of his teeth. Obviously, when we entered sudden death, he wasn't the champion, but as soon as that sudden death ruling came into effect, the big man just took over it, laid out everybody.
Well, you would think that going into this match, Kane Taylor was against the odds, but from the performance that he delivered, I think it was the other 3 that were against the odds of having any hope of leaving with that championship gold. Kane Taylor looked unstoppable for the majority of that match, and he's going to walk out this scramble match still the UKW television champion.
An interesting point to note that Victor Wood never once became the interim TV champion, so perhaps that might weigh on the young man's mind, having such an opportunity in this such of a contest.
Vincent Wood, who got spiked on his head with that double underhook DDT in the conclusion of the contest, appears to be, I was going to say out on his feet, but he's not even made up to his knees yet. The referee John Parker checking on Wood, who took some severe damage throughout that match, as did all 3 of the other competitors that weren't Kane Taylor.
Yeah, interesting to see.
Well, LRB rolling over there, so walking over to check on Wood. Wood rolling out of the ring. I don't think that any of these 3 can be happy over the fact that they're going to leave without that championship belt.
We saw the first fall that OKeefe captured that championship Then LRB picked it up just before sudden death, and now we saw at the end of sudden death, Kane Taylor leaves, still the TV champion.